Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Elysian Eclipse update video. We're currently looking at version 0.2.3, and just so you're all aware, there's not really much to show in regards to content for this update. This update is much more for patching, for fixing, for adding in the backbones of new features, but not actually having those features installed just yet. However, there are a couple of exciting things to look forward to. So I'm going to go over these updates rather quickly. So first of all is the space stage, and as we can already see right now, we have improved lighting effects in the galaxy, which looks really awesome actually. It surprised me loading in and seeing this. Here's another example, one of the existing galaxies with the new lighting effect, and clearly the splash text really wants you to try adapt. And now next up is also saying to try Thrive. Wow, this game is really very generous when it comes to advertising other projects, but here you can see one of the new galaxies. An entire new galaxy has been designed and placed here within the title screen. It looks wonderful, got much more of like a rainbow kind of feel as well. This here is another shot at it, which just looks really lovely and it's quite a nice and just refreshing look. I really like the experimenting with all the different colours because something about it just makes it feel kind of mystical in a way, and as a result more exciting. And finally for the space stage is the galaxy generation. Now this is not in the demo yet, but here's a very early draft concept theory. In other words, this is not the final product, but here is an early look at what Walsman's had in mind for galaxy generation. He has already mentioned that he probably won't be sticking to the grid view that we see here. And don't worry if you're concerned, the asteroids is also confirmed aren't actually supposed to be there. They won't be there in the final product. Overall, he wants his galaxy to have a much grander, more grandiose, vibe, such as that in No Man's Sky. He doesn't want it to be a finite little galaxy like in Spore, but something much bigger and grander. So again, this is like a very early look, but hey, like I said earlier, we're currently looking at the beginning of the backbones of future features here, not really anything finalized just yet. And since I've been mentioning the splash text quite a few times, I should mention that two new ones have been added in. One is the phrasing, work is da poop, which is something Walsman says a lot on Discord, and it's a reference to Warcraft. And the other splash text is quite a famous phrase, which I think I'm gonna leave for people to discover by themselves. You definitely won't regret it. Now moving on to the cell stage, we have the new addition of two basic AI microbes, which I believe are the orange dots on the map. I'm gonna swim over to those now. While we're swimming, speed now also scales with stats from movement parts, although I don't actually know how to add any movement parts without, like any proper way to gain parts. I can gain DNA with cheats, but not parts. So I can't actually demonstrate that, but speed scaling is now a thing. We have one of our brand new AI NPCs here. This is called Swoops, which is a cute little boy actually. I can't attack it, can't do anything to it, but speaking of attacking, added collision attack to the early jaw part. Sizing is currently not working either, however that is something that's been immediately working on upon finishing this update. Now like I said, I can cheat in DNA, but I can't cheat in parts, so I don't really know how to demonstrate it. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. Oh, actually, in fact, this one, Croncho, just attacked me. Oh wow, it did quite a bit of damage as well, my goodness. So there you go then. The jaw part does in fact do damage. We have our first aggressive as well as neutral or passive AI cells. Again, very basic, as all the beginning fundamentals, the backbones, to create the actual features later on. And a far more technical addition to the cell stage is an object pooling system for fast spawning of microbes without lagging, because obviously that's quite important, is to not lag. I gotta say, even though these are like really simple little cells, it really makes me excited to see what the much bigger ones will look like later on. And apparently there's no anything for dying, so that's good to know. Can I teleport while dead? Let's find out. Yes, and I can move and I have 0 HP. Interesting. Gotta love the early development stages of games. I'm a zombie, I'm eating vegetation. Excellent. So a couple of more much smaller additions, which I'll just hash out really quickly, is the addition of a full screen button. Two buttons here which will allow you to access your creation cards and your screenshots. Creation cards being the data which your creation is saved into. The F1 key, which previously toggled the ability to hide UI, now has to be held down to hide the UI. You can't just, flip it anymore. The cheat menu with the F4 in the upper left-hand corner has been slightly reworked. Added name and health display while hovering over microbes in the cell stage, and improved attribute display shading such as health, energy, and etc. One more key thing to point out is the addition of a multiplayer demo. This is not in the current demo right now, I cannot demonstrate it, however, Walsman is indeed already testing the waters for multiplayer. Since I feel like quite a few people think that just shoving a multiplayer to a game is something really easy, it's really not easy. You have to do it super duper early, you can't just shove multiplayer into a game. So of course you have to work on it extremely early, alongside every other function and feature of the game. Currently, as you can see in this preview here, he has managed to get 2 cells to kind of like coexist in the same environment. But if you check the mini-map, the procedural world of which they spawn in is actually not synced. They spawn in their own independent worlds and own independent environments, and yet they can actually interact with each other. So again, it's really super duper early, but it's just really cool. It's really cool to see something like this so early, even though it needs to be early, but again, it's cool to see. So like I mentioned, less of a content update, more of a kind of fixes, additions, integrations, and the backbone of future features. But as always, it's nice to be on the same page and to see where the game is currently at, and to not make it feel like that by skipping an update video that it's, you know, kind of abandoned. No, it's definitely not abandoned, it is still going strong. As always, feel free to provide any feedback, and if you want to support Watermans and support Elysian Eclipse, all of the relevant links can be found in the video description down below or in the comment section as well. Do give him your support for this wonderful game. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.